If you're sharing what you care about, you love, and you have a passion for, it's not seen as blasting or selling. You're just sharing, and people are going to get involved in it, and not everybody will, and that's okay. But if someone does need help and someone does decide to come to you, that trust is already kind of built. You don't have to start all over, at the base level and build that trust. They already kind of trust you. They respect you. They know that you're going to help them by doing the right thing, and the process is quick and easy.
Now, your weekly dose of inspiration, perspiration, and just the right amount of bull defecation. The Get You Some Radio Show with your host, the Vice President of Making Shit Happen, Terry Lancaster.
Tan, rested, and ready. And for the first time in 2 months, I am playoff beard free. Welcome to another episode of the Get You Some Radio Show. I'm your host, Terry Lancaster. Got a great show for you today. Mike, the car guy, Mike Correra from Riverside Chevrolet in Riverside, California. He's going to be with us in the studio talking about the one-word secret, the ridiculously obvious secret to success in social selling. And it all boils down to just one word. We'll be back with Mike, the car guy, in just a minute. First, I want to talk about the subscriber of the week. Congratulations to Steve Buscall from Norfolk, Nebraska. Steve's going to take home his very own brand new, fresh in the wrapper copy of Better Self-Help for the rest of us. Steve, be watching your mailbox for that. Now, back to the important stuff, the playoff beard. As you can see, I am freshly shaven. For the first time in 2 months, no playoff beard. Unfortunately, that is because my Nashville Predators lost in the Stanley Cup Championship to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Congratulations to those of you in Pittsburgh. Congratulations. I'm still a little tender, still a little upset about it, but I will survive. But I got to shave the beard. The beard was bugging me, and I started this whole thing with the Get You Some Radio Show just about 2 months ago, and I had a plan. Man, I was going to start this show, and I didn't really know where it was going, but I was going to start, and I was going to, interview some people and put the word out there and get it out. And I never intended to do 2 months worth of shows in a hockey jersey and a scruggly, scraffy, nasty, itchy, patchy playoff beard, but that's the way it ended up. And I'm going to quote the great philosopher Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And I got punched in the mouth. Literally the week I started the show, the Predators make it into the playoffs. And that meant every night for the last 2 months, every other night for 2 months, I was either watching a hockey game or at a hockey game. So that distracted me. But that was a pretty good punch in the mouth. I'll take that. But I also got a couple of bad punches in the mouth right off the bat. Literally the same time I started the show, the week we started the show, my dad gets rushed to the emergency room at the hospital. He's okay now. My stepmom gets rushed to the emergency room, and she passed, unfortunately. And so my whole world has been turned upside down, rocking and reeling. I had one kid over the last 2 months, one kid graduate from college, had another kid graduate from high school, and we took off on a cruise that we had planned 6-7 months ago before I knew the show was going to be started, before I knew about my stepmother passing, before I knew that the Predators were going to be on the playoffs. And it was just one punch in the face after another. And, you just have to start taking the licks. And it was funny. Mike Tyson, he came up with this quote, in the 80s when he would come out and he would just punch everybody, and he was just hammering through people, and everyone had a plan to fight him until they actually had to get into the ring. Well, I got into the ring and I kept going. And that brings me to another quote, and this is the fake Buddha quote. I thought for a long time this quote was from the Buddha, but it's not from the Buddha. I don't know who it's from. It's just some guy made this up. But there are two mistakes that people make along the way to the truth. It's not getting started and to not keep going. And it's one of the things I tell my children, that you have to do two things. You have to make a decision, and you have to maintain forward momentum. You have to swim like a shark. You just have to, because sharks, they don't sleep. They even while they're sleeping, they have to swim because they have to swim to breathe. So they always have to keep moving. They always have to maintain forward momentum. Get started and keep going. Those are the keys to success in almost any endeavor. And it's called tenacity. You have to keep going. You have to put in the work. You have to do the work and let everything else take care of itself, not get caught up in how things are going to turn out, not get caught up in what people are going to think about what you're doing, whether it's going to be a success or a failure. You just have to get up and you just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And that's what I've done with the podcast for this is the 9th episode. So the last 9 episodes, I've created this show. And I don't know where this is going. I don't know who else watching. I know my mom watches. So hi, Mom. Thanks for watching. But I don't know what's going to come of the show, what doors this is going to open, where it's going to lead. But I know I'm having a great time. I get to talk to some great people. I get to talk to Mike today. I love to talk to Mike. Any chance I get to talk to Mike, I've got lots of great guests lined up. I'm making great connections, and I'm having a really good time. So whatever comes of it, I'm going to keep going. I want to keep maintaining forward momentum. Unfortunately, I'm pretty tenacious. I've always had that thing going for me. Sometimes I'm just too stupid to quit. And speaking of too stupid to quit, well, I don't know if that's the way I want to say it. There's not. But I was on the cruise last week. We were on the cruise, and I spent a couple of days last week, in a hammock on a beach in the Dominican Republic, sipping pineapple juice out of a glass with a little umbrella and straw in it there, and just kick back, relaxing and out of contact. And had the phone in Wi-Fi mode for 7 whole days. So we missed a couple of weeks of episodes for the Get You Some radio show because I was out of service. And got a chance to take some time and think about some things and enjoy some of the stuff that has happened. We planned the trip because my kids were graduating. So I had one kid graduate from the University of Tennessee and another graduate from high school, but it was also my 30th wedding anniversary. And I was talking about this earlier this week. I mean, stop and think about that. 30 years. That's an enormous number to try to get your mind around. 30 years is literally a lifetime. It's 2 lifetimes. It's my lifetime and it's her lifetime. And we've been together for 30 years. And I hear lots of people talking about the secrets to a successful marriage. How do you maintain a relationship? How do you maintain a marriage? And I hear people say the old saw is that you can never go to bed angry. Never go to bed angry. And always tell the truth. That's what. And always be honest with each other. Always tell the truth. And I got to tell you, that's probably about the dumbest advice I've ever heard in the history of the world, because if you're planning on being married 30 years and you're never going to go to bed angry, you're never going to go to sleep angry, you're going to have a lot of sleepless nights because there's going to be times when you're angry. And you can't always tell the truth. Sometimes the truth is not the best option. I'm not recommending lying, but sometimes the best thing to do is just to keep your mouth shut. If your wife asks you, hey, does this dress make my butt look fat? The truth is not what she's looking for. Sometimes the answer is to keep your mouth shut. But the secret, I'm going to give you the secret. You can write this down. You can put it in your box. The secret to maintaining a long marriage. 30 years now. 30 years, I'm telling you. And the secret to being married for 30 years is don't get divorced. That's it. Just don't get divorced. Be so stubborn that you can't give up, that you refuse to quit, that you're going to keep going no matter what, no matter how angry you are, no matter how much you don't like each other this week, no matter how much it would be easier to do some other things. Just keep going. Maintain forward momentum, just like a shark. Keep swimming. And so whether you're involved in a relationship and keeping it going, whether you're starting a business or you're starting a podcast or you're starting a new job or you're just graduated from school and you're trying to get started in your adult life, or you're still in school and you're struggling trying to find your way through to make it to that big goal line that you had. And you don't know if the light at the end of the tunnel is an oncoming train or it's actually the light. All you can do is all you can do, but all you can do is enough. Just keep swimming. So I'm back with Mike the Car Guy right after this.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. And first impressions these days happen mostly on Google or social media. If you're invisible online, well, that's not much of an impression. But with our free 5-day personal branding bootcamp, you can transform your online image, create a bigger referral network, and stop being invisible in just 1 week. To get started, simply text Terry to 444-999.
Get You Some Radio.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Get You Some Radio Show studio. And I'm here with my main man, Mike, the car guy, Mike Correra, sales director at Riverside Chevrolet, Riverside, California. Man, how you doing?
I am doing great, man. It's good to see you again. I don't get to talk to you as often as I'd like directly, but I'm your biggest fan online. So it feels like we see each other all the time.
Well, that's what I love about this stuff. I mean, we've got thousands of friends scattered all over the country, and even if you ever, never actually talk to them or rarely interact with them, you still get to keep up with what's going on with everyone's life. So I'm always watching you taking pictures of cars, always watching you running, watching you the ball games, the family time, the whole nine yards. For people who don't know, Mike Correra, Mike the car guy, tell us the backstory. Mike Correra, how did Mike Correra become Mike the car guy?
I've been in this for 30 years now, and about the early 2000s, with the onset of the internet, as it became more and more a part of our lives, I started looking at it as a salesperson, and how can I use this? How can I adapt with the times and benefit myself, my business, my sales, utilizing this new way to communicate? Back in, I think it was about 2006, I first joined a networking site, if you will. The first site I joined was LinkedIn, and I kind of dabbled in it and thought, well, it's neat, it's fun, but I don't know how I could really benefit from it. And I had my employment information on there, and I left that dealership. And when I got to my next dealership, I remembered, hey, I should update my profile. And believe it or not, right after I did that, I got a message in my inbox, because I was at a Jeep dealership now, and a guy that I'd connected with on LinkedIn, I'd never really met, but he saw that I changed jobs, and he goes, hey, I'm actually looking for a Jeep. Maybe we can, maybe you can help me out. So back in 2007, I sold a car inadvertently through the internet, and it just became kind of an interest to me, and it's grown into a passion. And over the years, I've tried to get into new areas and explore, and I'm always learning. I follow folks like you. I follow folks online, and I always try to see how I can take what I'm learning from them and adapt it to myself. And one of the things I started to do is I started to call myself, or kind of label myself, before the word branding was really even thrown around. I just started calling myself, for instance, I was Mike the Dodge Boy for a time, and Mike the Kia guy, and Mike the Honda guy. And then I'd leave a store and go to the next store, and I'd have to start all over again, rebuilding that whole brand, if you will, without knowing what I was doing. And so about 2011, I met up with a lady by the name of Renee Stewart. She's a career coach in the automotive industry, very big in personal branding. And I worked with her for a long time, and we kind of jointly came up with the Mike the Car Guy brand, because it's something that's not specific to a dealer, a brand, or a location. It's just who I am, and it's out there online.
Yeah. So what do you do with it? How is it online? Where are you putting it?
Oh, I'm everywhere. As you mentioned, pictures. I got into Instagram early on when I first saw it, and I just love taking pictures. I kind of think that, I take a decent picture, and Instagram makes it look like I take great pictures. Yeah. And I just take pictures of stuff that I like. And I think that's the most important for me is I realize that I can't be everything for everyone. Not everyone is going to like my likes, and everyone's not going to share my opinions. They're not going to find what I think is fascinating and interesting. So why try to be everything for everyone? I just simply put up what I think is interesting, or, a view that I think is a really great view. I'll take some pictures of it. Most of the time I end up taking 100 pictures just to get one that I like, but I'll post it. And a lot of times people like it, and that's really cool. And if they don't, that's okay, because I'm really just sharing what it is that I like. And if people like it, they gravitate toward me. And by continually being out there in the digital world and expressing what I like and reminding people what I do, because I'm always it's at the dealership, and I'm sharing relevant information about cars, people will gravitate toward that. And they remember when they need something in the car business that they've got a friend.
Yeah, you got a friend, Mike the car. And that's what I try to get everyone to think about is not necessarily, trying to attract an audience, but just sharing your life, being authentic. And we hear that word authenticity, but everyone thinks it means different things. A lot of people thinks it means about arguing about politics and if muttering every thought that pops into your head. But I think it just means letting people know what you're doing, what you do for a living, and what's going on in your life.
Right. I'm in most of the major areas. I'm a huge fan of Google Plus. I know I'm probably in the minority that still
You're the
believe
one.
in the platform. I love it. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. For a long time, I had two Facebook profiles. I had a personal one because I kind of wanted to keep my personal life separate from my professional life, and I didn't want my friends and family to feel like I was bashing them over the head with car sales stuff. But I realized it's who I am. This is not just my job. I mean, I'm passionate about the car business. There's got to be something that's kept me in it for 30 years, and it's okay that I share it. And the reason it's okay is because I don't every day put out, hey, I've got low interest rates, come see me for your best price. I just remind people subtly with pictures of the lot, things that's going on. We just recently held a big car show on our lot. We cleared off the whole side of the lot, and we hosted a couple, it was like 300 cars. And by sharing that stuff, it just kind of reminds people, oh yeah, Mike does work at a car dealership, and when they need me, I'm here for them.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about. You're in addition to being Mike the car guy, you're also the sales director, so you're responsible for a bunch of other car guys. So tell me how you help them establish their personal brand. And a lot of times there's a conflict. Some dealers are completely adamant about their salespeople not doing that. They're their customers, and don't talk about them on Facebook, and they want to keep completely away from that. And they want the salespeople to sign the paperwork and turn over the keys. And then some dealerships are completely all in, and they're boosting and promoting and encouraging their salespeople to establish an identity, to increase their referral networks, to build this online image and network of buyers. How do you help your people do what you've done?
That's actually exactly right. There's the whole gamut out there. There's dealerships at both ends of the spectrum. I left a dealership once because I was working on a follow-up video with a salesperson out in the service drive, where we were doing a video that we could send to his customers, about 3 months after the purchase, reminding the customers, hey folks, this is Joe with Joe's dealership. Your car's probably due for its first oil change about now. I just wanted to take a moment to show you where you're going to be going, because the service drive is behind and it's kind of hard to get to. And the general manager actually was walking across the lot and saw what we were doing and stopped us, told the salesperson, hey, stop wasting your time, get out there in front and get it up. And pulled me into his office and said, I know you're online. I know it's what you're about. That's okay. I can't change that, but I don't want you doing that with the salespeople. And after some discussion, it came out that he said, what happens when they build this culture, this fan base online, if you will, and they leave the store, then they take all our customers. And my retort to that was, why not create a store that they don't want to leave? Why not create a culture that they wake up every morning excited to go to? We obviously had a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
But the stores that get it are encouraging salespeople to get out there and brand themselves, because they know that they're going to reap the benefits of it. I try to lead by example. And as fun as I think it is, and as much enjoyment as I get from being out online, the thing that is this constant struggle is not everyone is. Some people are a little gun shy, a little hesitant to get out there and put themselves out in the open. They don't want to film a video. They don't want to take their own picture. They just kind of want to hide behind it. And that's still okay too. There's ways that you can promote yourself subtly. And again, I think it just comes back to people thinking, well, I got to go online and say, I got low prices. I got good interest rates. Come see me when you buy a car.
Yeah.
It's more about sharing and relating. I think the key to social is right there in the name, social media. It's right there. You got to be social. You don't walk into a bar and throw your hand up in the air and tell everybody, hey, I sell cars. But you would walk in and start a conversation with someone about something you like, whether it's a ball game on TV or some event that's going on. And in that conversation, maybe say, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, you do? That's great. I sell cars. If you ever need anything, let me know.
Yeah.
There's ways that you can go about it online just like you would in person.
Yeah. And it's really, I think people get confused and they think social media is a new thing. And to my way of thinking, it's not a new thing at all. It's just people being social, just like you said. And it's just salespeople being social. The greatest car salesman there was, Joe Girard, he was in people's, he was social. He sent out all the cards and everything. But salespeople building their own fan base, their own customer base, this isn't anything new. This is a good salesperson has been doing this for 50 years. They did it, with a Rolodex and a roll of stamps 50 years ago. And now you just have greater tools to get the deal done.
I used to have one of those recipe boxes with the little 3x5 cards.
I've got one in the kitchen right now. So
I used to follow up, and now my follow-up's online, and it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more engaging.
Yeah. And well, that's it. And it's exactly the same stuff. And plus you've got, Facebook reminds you when everyone's birthday is.
Exactly.
So you got that. So you had coffee and cars. That's your deal at Riverside? You had the coffee and cars. That's the show you were talking about?
That's it's what we started back when I started this dealership in Riverside. It's kind of a neat opportunity to rebuild this store. It was purchased from the former owner who had really kind of gained a negative reputation in the area over the course of his ownership. And now that we've changed the name and we're trying to get the word out that it's a new owner, that's a new attitude, that it's a new place to do business. Where we're at in the Inland Empire of California, there's a lot going on in Southern California in the car culture, but there's not a lot around us really locally. There's a big Cars and Coffee event about 60 miles away in Newport, and it has a pretty big draw, but not everybody likes to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and drive for an hour to go hang out. So I thought, let's open the lot. I mean, we got a big parking lot. Saturday evening, once a month, I can get the guys out there. We can move a few cars and make some space and open it up, put some coffee and donuts, and let car people just pull in with their hot rods and their show cars and their street cars and just kind of hang out and talk about their cars, share some experience. And all the while, obviously, the underlying idea is to remind them that we're there and we're friendly to their culture and their interests. And maybe since we share the same interests, when they need a personal daily driver car that's not their hot rod sitting in the garage, they're going to remember us. And we've done it 5 times now, and we're getting a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, and it gives you a chance to take more pictures. I always enjoy the pictures from there. So you told me, we've talked before, and you told me once upon a time that if you were a young salesperson just starting out, that you might not even strive to be a manager because it's so easy now to build the book of business that you can draw from. So let's talk about, let's say you've got a brand new green pea salesperson who just brought in. What do you do? Give us one action step that they can do to get started to building the book of business, to building this customer base that they can tap into forever.
Some of the things I found that are remarkably effective that don't seem really complex and they're kind of no-brainers. And when I tell people, they look at me like, okay, whatever, it's not going to help. But then when it benefits them, they're kind of blown away. If you get into the car business, you go to like Facebook. Everyone's on Facebook. Anyone that tells me they're not on Facebook, okay, I don't believe you. But
I don't watch TV either, Mike.
I'll go with it. The first thing I recommend everybody doing is going to your profile page and updating your employment. When you do that, just that simple act, you're not telling everybody, hey, I sell cars now, but you are. Because all the people that are in your friend base are going to see you got a notification, you updated your employment. Oh, well, hey, Joe works at a car dealership now. That's pretty cool. And then things that you enjoy about being in car sales, whether it's helping somebody, get their 16-year-old son his very first car. Just by sharing that excitement, other people are going to feel that excitement. Like you said, authenticity. You got to just be true to who you are. Something that really makes you happy. When you share it, other people are going to understand that that's who you are, and that's really something that made you happy. So if they're friends with you, they're probably going to share some of that same type of happiness with it. And the more you do that, the more they don't feel like you're beating them over the head with, hey, I got low prices and low interest rates.
Yeah.
Just by sharing. We've said it on the lot. Telling isn't selling, but sharing is how you gain the rapport that you need. Same thing online. If you're being social and you're sharing something that you really enjoy, other people are going to key into it.
Yeah. So Facebook is the 800-pound gorilla of people that.
Oh, definitely. I check in to work when I get there in the morning, and everybody that I'm friends with sees that I checked into Riverside Chevrolet, and it's a subtle reminder that I work at a car dealership and I enjoy being there. The pictures I share on Instagram, they're obviously, most of them are quite obviously at the dealership because the dealership's in the background. There's the Chevrolet logo or what have you, and a lot of people seem to like my pictures, and that's really cool. That's not why I do it. I just do it because I like it.
Right. So let's talk about reviews. I know that they're a major component for salespeople and for the dealership. What are you doing with reviews? How do you encourage your salespeople to get more reviews from their people, for themselves, and for the dealership?
For the first 4 months I was there, we had an email template that I created that has links to 3 major review sites. And
Which 3 do you use?
Google, Yelp, and cars.com.
Okay.
Google and Yelp both require you to have either, the Gmail account or a membership, and you have to be a Yelper. But Cars doesn't. Cars you can just go to and put a review and post it, so you don't have to. I just like to give folks those options. If a person is in Yelp already, they're going to want to put a Yelp review. So there's no sense in trying to steer them away from it, because nobody really likes Yelp. The people that are Yelping, they like Yelp. So let them put a Yelp review there. I'm okay with that.
Right.
A flip side to reviews is being the moderator for the store, is making sure that they're responded to, positive and negative, as quickly as possible. All of them. If you search our reviews, they're all responded to, all uniquely, not with a cut and paste, thanks for your review. I mean, I try to make sure I personalize each response.
Yeah.
But what we were doing was sending out the email, and it was very personal. It said, hey, it was very nice to meet you and work with you. As you know, I'm trying to grow my business, and the most important way for me to do that is word of mouth. If you felt that I deserve some recognition, please feel free to use one of the links below to share your experience. And just that quick little personal invite got us tremendous traction. Now we're using a function of auto alert, the service that we've signed up with, and they're giving us even more, because every service RO that closes, every sale that closes, the email goes out automatically. It's not up to the salespeople or the service writers to remember to do it. It's going out, and I'm pulling 12 to 15 reviews a day now.
That's fantastic. All right, and you respond to each one of those. Are your salespeople, they do anything above and beyond that for themselves personally, or?
The ones that are in there, like I have a couple of salespeople that are on Yelp, and they've seen reviews with their name, and they've gone in and publicly, just put a comment in there.
Right.
Hey, thanks for the review. I appreciate that. And that, I think, strengthens things too, because if a customer, for whatever reason, is searching us online, and they do want to look up Yelp, because I know people that will search businesses through Yelp. They'll say, find me a restaurant, they get the directions, and while they're there, they'll just scroll up or scroll down and see the reviews. If you're responsive, it carries a bigger impact.
Yeah. So, and let's talk for a second. We'll let you get back to your day off and back to your honey-do list there. Let's talk about the role of video. And I decided I was going to start a podcast and do like everyone else, buy me a microphone, sit in the basement and pretend I was on the radio. But then I really kind of sat around and realized that video is is where more traction is. And so many people were podcasting, and then they'd go to YouTube and have this video rolling with no video. I decided I wanted to make it a video show, because video gets more views, gets more traction, gets more interaction. There's video emails now. Tell us how you're using video. I know you like the pictures, one frame at a time, but what are you guys using with video?
I'm growing. I'm expanding into video. I've always been a fan of video, but and one of the reasons I can relate to the salespeople is it wasn't easy for me to get on camera. I get nervous. I flub it up. There's always all these fears that keep us from doing things that we know work. A lot of us acknowledge that's a really good idea, but it's not for me.
Right.
And so I just started doing it. I started doing videos 6-7 years ago when I was with Honda. I really was a huge fan of Elise Kephart. When I first discovered her, when she was still at her Honda store, I was one of her early fans, because we actually did some dealer trades back in that day. And I just happened to search her online and found out some of the things she was doing. And I used her as an example for my salespeople. Hey, you got to see what this salesperson up in San Luis Obispo is doing. She's doing great with video. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's fun. And now I'm using a program. It's actually an app on my phone called Bom Bom Video.
I was about to ask if you're using it, so because I'm thinking about it.
Oh, I love it. I use it for my video emails. For our internet customers that submit an internet request, the third email that goes out is an email from me. I send it through the Bom Bom app. I can use it on my desktop, not just my phone. Mm-hmm. And it's a message from the manager. It's just me saying, hey, folks, I appreciate you, requesting information. I know my team's trying really hard to get you the things that you've asked us for. Here's my name and contact information as a sales director. If there's anything I can do for you, please feel free to reach out to me, call me, text me, email me. And then all my contact info is below. That one email gets as much response as any of the other emails that we send out.
Right.
There's something about people seeing that word manager, like, oh, hey, there's the guy that can get me more for my trade, or tell me about the interest, or whatever it is. The key is just engagement. And once we have that conversation, that dialogue, then it's easy to come in and say, I'm going to make sure your salesperson has those answers for you. What's the best time for you to come in right now, or maybe later this afternoon? And video seems to have been that whole next step to take us into the next level.
Yeah, to me, video is just more about engagement. It's about eyeballs and teeth. You look, and you see someone smile, you see them grin, you see them chuckle. It makes it's almost like real life. So it makes everything a little bit more personal, I think. So.
And I think sometimes the hiccups and the flubs, as long as it's not a massive one, it shows that you're not a scripted actor getting paid to do it. You're a human guy that people can relate to. So once in a while is totally okay.
Yeah, I have problems with it. I've been through actually the Toastmasters program where they're really adamant about the uhs, and they have someone who counts the uhs when you go to speak. And I was like, listen, I watched the NBC anchor say 3 times last night. That's just the way people talk, and you just need to quit worrying about it. Just quit worrying about it. Just do you. That's the best advice you can give anyone. Just do you. Boom. There you have it, folks. Mike, the car guy. Mike, thank you so much for being here on the show. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and sharing your story. I always enjoy talking to you and hearing how you can sell without being salesy. And Mike just does that as good as anyone I've ever met. So if you get a chance to connect with Mike online, please do it. Mike, the car guy, Mike Correra at Riverside Chevrolet, Riverside, California. And if you happen to be out there, go by for coffee and cars, get a picture, get a selfie with Mike. Tell him I said, hey. Stick around. Come back next week. I got another great show for you. We're going to talk about tiny houses. Felice Cohen's going to be on the show, and Felice Cohen lived in a 90-square-foot apartment in New York City. I've got T-shirts that are 90 square feet. So be sure to join us next week for Felice Cohen on the Get You Some Radio Show. I'll see you then.
Get You Some Radio. You've been listening to the Get You Some Radio Show. Subscribe today at terrylancaster.tv to hear more episodes, win valuable cash and prizes, and get free training to help you create an army of buyers who know, like, and trust you before they've ever even met you. It's a big, wide world, boys and girls. Get out there and get you some.